Hello everyone, my name's Laeticia Sevin and welcome to the International Opportunities Podcast. This series will give you an insight into our students' first-hand experiences abroad, whether that be a study exchange or work placement. From Fiji to Canada, our students have done amazing things abroad and we want to showcase that to all of you. If you're thinking about going abroad for your studies or for work, then this series will hopefully give you some inspiration, tips and advice. Today we have a special guest, graduate Zofia Gaska. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you very much. Now, firstly, can you tell us where you went for your study exchange program and what you studied when you were there?
So I went to Germany to kind of a small town called Mainz, which is next to Frankfurt, to a university called Johannes Gutenberg University. At Salford, I did criminology and sociology, but in Mainz, it was just sociology, but kind of just social sciences connected.
Brilliant. And how long did you go for?
I went for 1 semester because it was we were just kind of getting out of COVID. So so I went in my second year. The first semester we were still online, and I didn't really want to go to a different country and be online. So I went for the second semester of my second year. So it was supposed to be like half a year, but it was 4 months of me being actually in Germany.
Okay, brilliant. Was that in 2022 that you went?
Yes, 2022 from April until early August, because the year in Germany is a little bit moved, the academic year, the semester starts at a different time than it does at Salford, at least. Yeah.
Okay, and what motivated you to pursue a study exchange abroad?
So I was already an international student, so I moved from Poland to the UK to study, and I don't know, I like traveling, I like living in different places, and I think also, I don't know if it's a thing in the UK, maybe not as much, at least not in Salford, because from our university, there was only me and one another girl going specifically to Germany, but European countries are they really, really like going on Erasmus exchanges or whatever. So basically every student, if they can get in, they go on an exchange. So I always wanted to. And then an opportunity came about and I was like, yeah. I think they advertised it through I just got an email from the international office team. I don't remember what they're called. Or I think there's also one of my lecturers, the lecturer who then became my exchange coordinator. He was also emailing us specifically on the criminology and sociology course about this exchange, and that the university in Mainz is quite good in sociology. So yeah, that's how I heard about it.
And did you have any skills that you wanted to develop or gain going to Germany?
I don't think so. Except for trying to learn German, which didn't go that well, I must say.
It's a difficult language to learn, though. It's really difficult.
There are some phrases that I still remember, and I think because I would spend a lot of my time with international students, not necessarily with German students, but students that would be learning German as their course and stuff like this, and they had some phrases that they would just we would speak in English to each other, but they would just put in certain German phrases. So I remember a few of those, but yeah, I think learning German was kind of on my list to do in Germany, and it went pretty well, for just being there for 4 months. But I don't know. I don't have a talent for learning German. It's just, yeah, it is really difficult, like you said.
Yeah, it's tough. My mum's a language teacher. She speaks 6 languages, and German was one of them, and she just could not get it. She really struggled with it. And she's really good at languages. So when did you move to the UK?
I moved in September 2020. So that's when I also started my university journey.
You moved to
Let's
the
say.
your own.
Yes. I mean, so I moved to Salford, obviously, to start university. I have a cousin who already lived in the UK, but she lived in London. She also moved there to study. So I wasn't like completely alone in the country, but I was alone in Manchester, especially since I did move in the middle of the pandemic, which is kind of maybe not the best idea. Looking back at it, everything was closed. Like I would just spend my days in my like new accommodation with like strangers, I guess. It wasn't bad. I liked the house, but like I didn't know anyone. And I was just kind of thrown into deep water, I guess.
Well, I bet that prepared you for going to Germany for the study exchange, though.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think, yeah, it's just, to be honest, I think moving anywhere is kind of hard. Even in the same city,
Yeah,
it's just kind of an inconvenience.
it is a
Um,
big.
yeah.
What were your expectations before going to Germany, and how did the actual experience compare?
I think my expectations were actually quite low, if I'm not gonna lie. Just because I'm Polish, so I've been to Germany multiple times. Like I also live quite close to the German border, like just a couple of hours by car. So I've been to Germany like multiple times before. And I was excited for the exchange itself, also because I had a friend, I met her in high school. We did another like student exchange in high school. She was German, and we like kept in touch over the years. And it turned out that she was also starting her studies at the same university, like in Mainz.
Mm.
But we didn't know about this coincidence, which was like really lovely. So that was also exciting because I got to see her a lot for like half a year. But yeah, like I already was kind of familiar with Germany, so I didn't really have any expectations.
Mm.
Um, but it turned out to be like so much better than that I could have imagined actually.
It's always good to go in with no expectations, though, I feel, because you've got your hopes up about something. It's never going to be what you think it is. So you did the right thing.
Yeah, I mean that's true. That's true. Like you can just get surprised quite easily, I guess.
Exactly. And how was the structure of your course there, and how did it differentiate from your course at Salford?
It was a little bit different just because I had more courses, or like more modules.
Yeah.
Um, I think I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was either five or six that I had. They weren't as much work as the ones that I had in Salford, because at least on my course, you have free, like when I was doing criminology and sociology, we had three modules each semester. So it was a little bit more, but the workload for each specific individual one wasn't that hard. So that was different. Um, Also, I guess another different thing was that one of them was at 7 p.m., if I remember well. So, or like it started at 6 p.m. and ended at 8 p.m. And I was like, that's way too late to
Yeah,
be
no, I'm switched off
sitting in a
at
lecture.
that time. That is very
Yeah,
late. Is that
I
quite
think
in Germany?
I don't exactly know. I don't like, I think they try not to do that, but it's kind of like they think of it as normal if they have to. Um, but yeah, I did enjoy my courses. One of them was German, like German language course. Um, they were quite interesting, and like I guess an important thing to say is that all of them I took, except for like learning German, I took in English because I can't speak German. I
Yeah.
could have also taken German modules, but I think that would have been a suicide
Yeah.
for like an academic failure basically, because I wouldn't be able to understand anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it didn't. It was kind of similar. Like it didn't vary that much, but it was just a little bit more of specific modules. Yeah.
What were the classroom settings like? Did you have a lot of people in each class, or?
It really depends on the specific class. I had one which was the one like really late in the evening. That was in like a big lecture room, maybe like 60 people, 60, 70 people. But then I also had subclasses that were really small, of like 15 to 20, or even smaller, like tiny amount of people, like, I don't know, 10 people maybe. So it really varied, I guess. And we would have it in like, I guess if I was to compare it to Salford, like one of the classes were in a like a proper lecture room, quite big, and some of the other ones were more in like seminar rooms. So like we would sit around the table and yeah.
Okay, that's quite good. Mix it up every day. Was it a full
Yeah,
time?
yeah. Yeah. So it varies a little. So in the UK, there are credits, right? Like at least in sociology and criminology, we would get 20 credits per module. And there they have what it's called ECTS points. That's like a European type of, I don't know, credit type for studying, I guess. And we would have to get 30. So 30 ECTS points would equal, I don't remember how many we would have in one semester in Salford. Was it
I think
60, I think.
Was it Oh yeah, no, it's 120 overall, isn't it? For two.
Yeah. So like 30 ECTS points would equal 60 credits. So you would have to each module would have a certain amount of points, and you would have to kind of add them on and see how it was. Oh, I guess I forgot to mention one of the courses was online, because it was like joined with other. That was actually a really cool course. It was joined with other universities from Europe. So we would have online lectures, and each week it would be a lecturer from a different university. I don't remember the exact universities, but I think one of them was from the Netherlands.
Oh, cool.
And maybe a few German universities. So this one was online. But yeah, I enjoyed it. So.
Oh, and did you live on campus there, or did you get?
Yes, so I lived in student accommodation. I didn't live on a campus. Like when you were applying for student accommodation, they would just put you in them randomly, I guess. And there was one for sure, but like maybe a couple on a campus itself, and then some of them were kind of in the city or like outside of the city, not outside of the center of the city center, but it was still like a university provided accommodation. So I lived quite like relatively far away, but it was quite well connected with like trams and buses and stuff like this. And I don't know why they do it, but in Germany you have to buy you don't pay for studies in Germany, but you have to buy a semester ticket, or like you have to pay a semester fee, which includes like a public transport ticket, so you can get like trains, trams, and buses like all around the city and in the region, like not for free, but included in that ticket. And I think it also like this fee also included like that you could go into different clubs and activities, so like a sports club or whatever they offered at the university, and I think maybe something else, but I don't know. But you have to pay that fee. So I would have the tram ticket included already anyway. Like there wasn't you couldn't opt out of it. You had to pay this fee. So it would take me like 20 minutes by tram to get to the university. I think I got like the oldest accommodation building or accommodation complex. It wasn't really pretty, but I loved it, to be honest. Like I just made how do I say, like I don't know if you moved, if you studied at the university, you probably also moved like every year to a different house or something like this. I for myself, I need those places, even if they're really temporary, like a year, to become like a home. Like I need to put some like decorations up or make it my own. So I really did that with this flat that we had in that I had in Germany, and I loved it. Like it was really tiny, like quite old, but I really, really liked it, and I had a lot of fun, like also inviting my friends there and stuff like this. So,
What would you say was your favorite memory from the trip?
I still look back at like my exchange, like at those 6 months or 4 months of me in Germany as like the happiest time of my life, because I really didn't have any worries, or like, and the university life was pretty, like it was comfortable. I didn't have to like worry too much about getting the best grades or whatever, because I don't know how it works now at Salford, but I just had to pass a course. I didn't, and then on my transcript it would say like that I went on an exchange and I passed the courses, so it didn't count into my grades. So yeah, I didn't have to worry about like getting very good grades. I just had to pass the courses. Um, and I made so many good memories and like made so many like amazing friends that I still keep in touch with now. Like I was texting them, or like it was my birthday last week and one of them called me. So I don't know what my favorite memory is. I guess we traveled a lot throughout Germany. Like we would do weekend trips. Um, and there's just a few of those weekend trips that I remember. We went to, I don't know how to pronounce the name of this city, but I think it's called Würzburg. It wasn't that far, but we basically just went to this like small town and spent the whole day there together. And like went, I think Germany has this, is very specific, at least where I was. Every little town or every little city had a castle. I don't know why, and I don't know how, but there is so many castles that you can like visit there. So we went to a castle and like walked around the city, and then like sat at a river, and just like talked to each other. And I really, really like, I remember that day really well. It was a really fun memory.
So, how did you meet all of your friends when you were there?
Um, hmm, I'm trying to remember. I think so. I think the like student exchange life at that specific university, like in Mainz, it was very, very well structured or like organized. And we had a, it was like welcome week, or like they would take us on a tour throughout the campus and like talk to us about how to enroll onto classes, for example, or and explain everything. So I went to one of those, and there, I'm pretty sure there I got connected with some people, and we made a WhatsApp group chat, and then people would just connect through there. And then I also got into like a group chat specifically for my student accommodation. And yeah, some of the accommodations would have weekly parties, and there was this one specific one which had a party every Wednesday, and I went to that and basically met all of my friends. Like this, it started there, like a week into the exchange. I met some of the people that lived at my accommodation, and like yeah, it just like kind of snowballed from there, and we would just like everyone knew someone that they could like meet you up with. So that's how I probably like was my worry when I was going on the exchange, but really, really was easy. I don't know. It was really special this like semester, and we had really, really good people there that I just connected like on a very deep level with, who like really became such close friends of mine, which was also a weird thing. And they would say that it's an Erasmus thing. So like this specific exchange, like on Erasmus, I don't think there is an experience like this. It's a very, very specific experience, and it's very, very special. But and you really can't compare it to anything else, I think. And when I was there, I had a conversation with my friends, and they would say, like, I would say that it kind of is like a weird social experiment, because you put all these people who are really eager to meet like other people from other countries, really you're eager to share their stories and like to make friends, and probably are there to party as well. Like,
course, that's a given.
um, and so you put them in like one place for a very limited amount of time, because in my case it was just a semester, and like it's really amazing how quickly you can connect with people, because that's something I didn't expect. Like, it really hit me how like connected I felt to my friends that I made there at the end of the exchange. So yeah.
No, I couldn't agree more. I felt the exact same on my trip. I think it's because everybody's in the same boat as well, especially in the welcome week when you've got everybody from all different countries, all international students. You're all in the same boat and you're all eager to make friends. But I felt the same on my exchange. I made friends and I didn't expect to meet people that I'm going to be in touch with for my entire life. And it's so lovely, isn't it? It's just so nice to look back on.
You have such a limited amount of time with each other, and all of us were aware of it. So
Yeah.
we were trying to make the most of it. And I think that's also like another aspect of the experience, I guess.
Definitely, you want to make the most of your time with them. I was like that. So we're spending every day together. It's like there's an expiry date though. Were you really upset when you had to leave?
Yeah, I mean, I was really quite emotional when I was leaving, but I was also one of the first ones to leave. So like, um, or I did have a friend who left before me, and when he left, I did have a little cry.
Yeah. Not like,
uh,
I was like, oh.
but then I think the next one was me leaving, so it's kind of like I was going back home, so it was sad, but I was going back to something familiar, so it wasn't, yeah. But it was quite hard adjusting to not being around like my friends anymore. Like, it took me quite a few months actually to stop thinking about them, or like, I don't know. I don't know how your experience was, but for me, it was really hard emotionally.
I had a phone call with one of my friends from Canada the other night, and we were on the phone for like 2 hours. And it's just emotional, isn't it, though? Because it's just weird. Like you know what she said to me? It really like did something to my brain. I had to sit and think about it for a minute. And she said to me, we've spent more time apart now than we actually have spent together. I was like, why did you say that to me? It is emotional, but it's amazing though, because you've got those connections around the world then. Have you seen any of your friends since you got back?
Yeah, I mean, I make it a point to like at least try to organize something. I'm not always the best at it. I'm not gonna lie. I really should not be a travel convener.
You're a master's student,
um,
you've got a lot to think about.
but yeah, I've seen them quite a few times. I went. Many of my friends that I made were Italian, so I went on a trip to Italy for quite a few, like 2.5 weeks last year. And I was visiting my friend in Rome, and then also visiting my friend in Milan, and like saw them. And then because I was already there, I also went back to like Mainz, to the city where I studied, to see my friends there. And then, yeah, the friends that I made, all of them are kind of traveling. Like, all of them are in different places. One of them stayed in Germany in Mainz, and one of them went back to Italy. And another of my friends, he's just all around the world, basically. So when we were in like the same, he went, he came to the UK a few times, so I tried my best to see him. And then now he is in Barcelona, and I really want to go because I've never been to Barcelona, and that's such a good excuse.
Yes, 100%. Oh, Barcelona sounds amazing, honestly. You need to get yourself there. Now, what were some of the challenges that you faced while you were there, and how did you overcome them?
I enrolled on one of the modules. I like went to a few classes, and I really, really hated it. It was not a good course. Didn't enjoy it. I was like, what is this about? I am studying sociology, and I can't understand anything that this lecturer is telling me. And so I had a little crisis because I was like, what if I don't pass? Blah, blah, they will kick me out, which is so dramatic of me, but
Scary
it
though.
really felt like that.
Yeah, because you want to represent the school as well, and you want to do your best when you're there. So that must have been hard.
Yeah, but so that was a little hard, but in the end, I was able to. So I think they are quite lenient with exchange students. Like, for example, if you go on like a module that you don't like, you can try to change it within the like first few weeks. Although, of course, it depends on a university. But I was able to exchange that course and found another one that I enrolled on and really, really enjoyed. So that's how I kind of dealt with it, but also a lot of family support. Because it did make me very, very nervous. But yeah, I just talked to my family basically every day on FaceTime. I was like, Mom, I don't know what to do. Help me.
It's good to have a good support system, though. It's really important to reach out to your friends and family.
Yeah, I think, I mean, as an international student, I think I like learned about it already, but for me personally, it is so, so important to keep in touch with my family, like maybe not necessarily on daily basis, but very often. Otherwise, I'm just a little bit down.
100%. Now, what personal skills or qualities have you developed from the trip?
I have a little bit more ease in like connecting with people. It's still like I would say I don't have that much of a problem with connecting with people, but at the very beginning, when I am in a new situation, it takes quite a bit of time for me to like, I don't know, to become myself, like to actually act like myself. So I can be like a little bit shy at the very beginning, but it's still like the exchange still helped me to like talk to strangers or like try to make as many friends as possible. Or like not have a problem with talking to strangers and like yeah. So that's something I think that developed, and also I guess also a little bit like a confidence in myself. I think I was already confident, but in terms of like that I am like a good friend to have and like a good person, and that I can see that people appreciate like the effort that I put into relationships, for example. Um, and yeah, like the people that I met there made me feel quite special. So like it boosted my confidence a little bit, which was really nice.
How did your study exchange contribute to your academic or professional goals?
I'm not entirely sure if it did. I didn't really go into doing a study exchange with a goal to like develop professionally or academically. Um, it was more for the experience. I think it gave me a much wider like connection, like network connection, I guess. Like I have so many friends, but I have also met so many people that like would just pass by, that I didn't really like develop a deeper connection, like relationship with, but that I know. And I think that's like a big advantage of doing an exchange. Like you have so like they are on all on my Instagram, so if I wanted to, I could like message them, and I think that's like both a professional and like kind of an academic advantage. You have people to talk to, and all of them are doing different things. So, yeah, I think that's one of the like best, what's the word? Advantages of an exchange. Like your network expands so widely, and all of these people are all over the world as well. So yeah.
Brilliant. And have you had any job opportunities because of your placement?
No, but that's also maybe not because I didn't really like look for any. I think it is like an enhancement of your CV. I think some employers might be maybe not necessarily looking for it, but it's like nice thing to have on a CV. And I do have a friend who like went on exchange especially to put it on his CV, but I didn't think of it as that. But no, so I didn't get any opportunities, but I also didn't look for any like specifically connected to that.
Yeah, perfect. And what jobs or projects have you worked on since your return? Have you gone back to studying?
Yeah, so the exchange was in my second year of university. And in my third year, I did a dissertation project, like still at Salford, obviously. I did a dissertation project, which was like it turned out really great, and it also was like kind of my little dream to do like an actual qualitative study with, and I worked with Master Tree in Manchester, like a homelessness charity, and did some interviews with like their employees, but also people experiencing homelessness or poverty or in like a precarious situation in their life, which was really exciting. And then when I graduated, I applied for a master's degree at the University of Glasgow in sociology. So that's what I've been doing since then. And am about to graduate from my master's now,
Great, so you
hopefully.
have been busy. Bless you. Now, what advice would you give to students considering a study exchange?
I'd say definitely go for it. I know it's not necessarily easy because you just have to take care of like filling it in the forums and making sure that you have a place to stay in a different country and stuff like this. And it also is, or it can be a little bit expensive depending on what country you're going to and depending on your passport, because like I'm Polish, so I didn't need a visa to go to Germany, but my like the other girl that went, she needed to pay for a visa, so that's like an additional thing to think about. So yeah, my advice would be to be like organized and sure that you actually want to do it, because it is a little bit more of additional work, but also to like be brave and go for it because it's such a cool experience.
Brilliant advice. Now, how did you plan your finances for the trip? And do you have any advice for students on what or what not to do?
Um, so I have been fortunate enough for like my parents to support me throughout my studies. Um, so I didn't necessarily have to worry about finances too much. Also, especially because of what I mentioned before, like I didn't have to pay additional fees for a visa or anything like this, because of my passport, I guess. But yeah, just to be like prepared that there might be some costs. So, like for example, um, if you wanted to travel from the UK to Germany, it's very hard to do it in like an affordable way. Like most of the flights are done by Lufthansa, which is a very expensive airline. So I would also plan like yeah, in terms of financial advice, I would plan it like far ahead. So because obviously like plane tickets are cheaper at some different points during the year and stuff like this. So if you can just plan everything as far in advance as possible. But also the place that I went to was less expensive than Salford or Manchester. Like I paid for rent 325 euros, which is like 200, I don't know, 90 pounds, which is like very little compared to um, like a room in Manchester. And that was like an okay flat, I guess. Um, so yeah, and I what not to do. There's the advice that the office, like the international office, gave us was to like don't trust when something looks too good to be true. It probably is too good to be true. So I would go also like if it's affordable enough and available, I would go with accommodation that's provided by the university, just because you're sure that it's not a scam and that it will be there. And yeah, I think that's it from me. In terms of what to do, just plan, because it is a little bit hectic to move from a different country and to like remember all the things that you want to bring, and then the first few days in it, because most of the people would be bringing just like one or two suitcases. Obviously, you can't take everything. So like the first few days will be a little bit hectic. So I would also be prepared for that, just to, yeah, because you have to go to like IKEA or whatever, and or buy some, I don't know, a pot and a pan, because
Some
you
of the
don't have anything.
Yeah, some of the student accommodations didn't even have like pillows on the first day, so they had to go straight to like Target and Walmart when I was there. Bit chaotic. So you would have just missed the Turing funding then. Did you get a grant or anything when you went away?
Yeah, so I got Erasmus funding. I don't remember exactly how much it was. It definitely wasn't enough to cover everything that I needed, but it did help. It was, I think it was 1,600 pounds, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, I know that you now have a Turing scheme or whatever it's called. It was because the Erasmus scheme was running out, like they were ending it, so I didn't really have that much money anymore. I don't really know how it works, but yeah, it wasn't enough to cover everything that I needed, but it was some help. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the Turing funding, for anybody listening, there is quite a big amount now of grant funding available for students. So there's definitely a lot more funding than there previously was for students going abroad. Depending on financial statuses as well, such as disadvantaged or estranged from parents, people are also able to get flights reimbursed, exceptional costs covered, and things as well now. Just for anybody listening, in case they're they're scared about finances, we do help you as much as we can. Finally, is there an important hint or tip that you have for students who are wanting to complete an exchange program?
I don't know. What would do you say?
So I feel like my tip would be to take every opportunity and network as much as you can while you're there for the kind of industry I'm in.
I think for me, yeah, take as many opportunities as you can and go out and meet people. Even if it's just in a social setting, you really might meet some people that are so interesting and like so ambitious, and their dreams are so inspiring, which might inspire you as well. And yeah, you can just get connected with people that might help you with your career or with your with academia, or in general, just yeah, throughout your life, it might be helpful. So yeah, go out as much as you can. I know it's not always easy, especially if you're in a new environment, but uh, it is a very special time, and everyone is really eager to meet others. So yeah, just take as much. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for coming on to talk about your experiences. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really enjoyed it, and I hope it's helpful at least a little bit.
Now, if you listeners want to find out more about study exchanges or work placements, then please visit the Student Hub International Opportunities page. There you can find out about our drop-in sessions, application processes and partnerships. I'll see you in next week's episode, where we'll be hearing from more of our amazing students about their overseas placements. Please like, share and subscribe to this podcast so you can hear more, and we can spread the word about our international opportunities. We'll see you next time.